What's up, everybody? We are on day 192 of our Bible in a Year series, continuing in Proverbs, and we'll have about 4 days left in Proverbs. We're coming up close to the end, moving through it rather quickly. It's not a super long book, but it has been good, and there is more good to come still. So, let's dive back in. Proverbs 19. Proverbs 19 is where we are today. Better a poor person who lives with integrity than someone who has deceitful lips and is a fool. Even zeal is not good without knowledge, and the one who acts hastily sins. A person's own foolishness leads him astray, yet his heart rages against the Lord. Wealth attracts many friends, but a poor person is separated from his friend. A false witness will not go unpunished, and one who utters lies will not escape. Many seek a ruler's favor, and everyone is a friend of one who gives gifts. All the brothers of a poor person hate him. How much more do his friends keep their distance from him? He may pursue them with words, but they are not there. The one who acquires good sense loves himself. One who safeguards understanding finds success. A false witness will not go unpunished, and one who utterly lies perishes. Luxury is not appropriate for a fool, how much less for a slave to rule over princes. A person's insight gives him patience, and his virtue is to overlook an offense. A king's rage is like the roaring of a lion, but his favor is like the dew on the grass. A foolish son is his father's ruin, and a wife's nagging is an endless dripping. A house and wealth are inherited from fathers, but a prudent wife is from the Lord. Laziness induces deep sleep, and a lazy person will go hungry. The one who keeps commands preserves himself. One who disregards his ways will die. Kindness to the poor is a loan to the Lord, and he will give a reward to the lender. Discipline your son while there is hope. Don't set your heart on being the cause of his death. A person with intense anger bears the penalty. If you rescue him, you'll have to do it again. Listen to counsel and receive instruction so that you may be wise later in life. Many plans are in a person's heart, but the Lord's decree will prevail. What is desirable in a person is his fidelity. Better to be a poor person than a liar. The fear of the Lord leads to life. One will sleep at night without danger. The slacker buries his hand in the bowl. He doesn't even bring it back to his mouth. Strike a mocker, and the inexperienced learn a lesson. Rebuke the discerning, and he gains knowledge. Uh, I'll finish this before I comment. The one who plunders his father and evicts his mother is a disgraceful and shameful son. If you stop listening to correction, my son, you will stray from the words of knowledge. A worthless witness mocks justice, and a wicked mouth swallows iniquity. Judgments are prepared for mockers, and beatings for the backs of fools. So we see this continuously come up through Proverbs. There's kind of like these parallels, right? So there's this, and then there's this. There's this, and there's this. The wise does this. The fool does this. The wise does this. The fool does this. Not all of them, but there's a lot of that in there. But you've also noticed a lot of these are small little oh small little pieces of information, right? Small little sayings or pieces of advice or things like this that you can kind of pull apart, even though, I mean, they're in here together, and they're intended to be together, but you can kind of take these little sections and really like break down and like focus on the little section, like almost like just a verse. You can look at a verse and just kind of sit with the verse and look at it and see what it says. But there's also like a big push against this idea of being a fool and not listening to correction, not taking correction. So, just interesting little tidbits there. Proverbs 20. Wine is a mocker, beer is a brawler. Whoever goes astray because of them is not wise. A king's terrible wrath is like the roaring of a lion. Anyone who provokes him endangers himself. Honor belongs to the person who ends a dispute, but any fool can get himself into a quarrel. The slacker does not plow during planting season. At harvest time he looks and there is nothing. Counsel in a person's heart is deep water, but a person of understanding draws it out. Many a person proclaims his own loyalty, but who can find a trustworthy person? A righteous person acts with integrity. His children who come after him will be happy. A king sitting on a throne to judge separates out all evil with his eyes. Who can say, I have kept my heart pure? I am cleansed from my sin. Differing weights and varying measures, both are detestable to the Lord. Even a young man is known by his actions, by whether his behavior is pure and upright. The hearing ear and the seeing eye, the Lord made them both. Don't love sleep, or you will become poor. Open your eyes, and you'll have enough to eat. It's worthless. It's worthless. The buyer says, but after he is on his way, he gloats. There is gold and a multitude of jewels, but knowledgeable lips are a rare treasure. Take his garment, for he has put up security for a stranger. Get collateral if it is for foreigners. Food gained by fraud is sweet to a person, but afterward his mouth is full of gravel. Finalize plans with counsel and wage war with sound guidance. The one who reveals secrets is a constant gossip. Avoid someone with a big mouth. Whoever curses his father or mother, his lamp will go out in deep darkness. An inheritance gained prematurely will not be blessed ultimately. So with this one, think of, we haven't got there yet, but the parable of the prodigal son. Um, Wanted his inheritance early, he got it early, and look at where he landed. Verse 22. Don't say, I will avenge this evil. Wait on the Lord, and he will rescue you. Differing weights are detestable to the Lord, and dishonest scales are unfair. Even a courageous person's steps are determined by the Lord. How can anyone understand his own way? It is a trap for anyone to dedicate something rashly and later to reconsider his vows. A wise king separates out the wicked and drives the threshing wheel over them. The Lord's lamp sheds light on a person's life, searching the innermost parts. Loyalty and faithfulness guard a king. Through loyalty he maintains his throne. The glory of young men is their strength, and the splendor of old men is gray hair. Lashes and wounds purge away evil, and beatings cleanse the innermost parts. Chapter 21. A king's heart is like channeled water in the Lord's hands. He directs it wherever he chooses. All a person's ways seem right to him, but the Lord weighs hearts. Doing what is righteous and just is more acceptable to the Lord than sacrifice. The lamp that guides the wicked, haughty eyes, and an arrogant heart is sin. The plans of the diligent certainly lead to profit, but anyone who is reckless certainly becomes poor. Making a fortune through a lying tongue is a vanishing mist, a pursuit of death. The violence of the wicked sweeps them away because they refuse to act justly. A guilty one's conduct is crooked, but the behavior of the innocent is upright. Better to live on the corner of a roof than to share a house with a nagging wife. A wicked person desires evil. He has no consideration for his neighbor. When a mocker is punished, the inexperienced become wiser. When one teaches a wise man, he acquires knowledge. The righteous one considers the house of the wicked. He brings the wicked to ruin. The one who shuts his ears to the cry of the poor will himself also call out not to be answered. A secret gift soothes anger, and a covert bribe fierce rage. Justice executed is a joy to the righteous, but a terror to evildoers. The person who strays from the way of the prudent will come to rest in the assembly of the departed spirits. The one who loves pleasure will become poor. Whoever loves wine and oil will not get rich. The wicked are a ransom for the righteous, and the treacherous for the upright. Better to live in a wilderness than with a nagging and hot-tempered wife. Precious treasure and oil are in the dwelling of a wise person, but a fool consumes them. The one who pursues righteousness and faithful love will find life, righteousness, and honor. A wise person went up against a city of warriors and brought down its secure fortress. The one who guards his mouth and tongue keeps himself out of trouble. The arrogant and proud person, named mocker, acts with excessive arrogance. A slacker's craving will kill him, because his hands refuse to work. He is filled with craving all day long, but the righteous give and don't hold back. The sacrifice of a wicked person is detestable. How much more so when he brings it with ulterior motives? A lying witness will perish, but the one who listens will speak successfully. A wicked person puts on a bold face, but the upright one considers his way. No wisdom, no understanding, and no counsel will prevail against the Lord. A horse is prepared for the day of battle, but victory comes from the Lord. And that is it for our reading. Now to our questions. Question 1. Proverbs 19:21 says, "Many are the plans in a person's heart, but it is the Lord's purpose that prevails." How can we learn to hold our plans loosely while still living with intentionality? We talked about this a little bit yesterday. We didn't get extremely into it, but like we kind of brought up the idea. So it's good to have plans, to plan things out. I think that's a good practice to get into, right? At least for me, I do not like not having structured time. I hate unstructured time. Like absolutely hate it. Even like downtime. I want I want to like know like, hey, at this point I can have downtime, and so for me it's easy to say like this is a good thing. But I think just in general, most people, you get more done. You're more productive when you have, structured time. Now, you can have plans. You can have that structured time. But no, God is still sovereign. God is still in control. And we need to be willing to move from those plans if something comes up and we feel that we're supposed to. If God is leading us away from those plans. And that is something that I can sometimes struggle with. Getting away from what I have planned, or going into something I have not planned. Like it can be very, very difficult for me to do. And there's a lot of mental blocks I have to get past when this happens. Um, but it is something that good practice to get into. Be open and ready for that. Question 2. Proverbs 21:3 says, "Doing what is right and just is more acceptable to the Lord than sacrifice." What does this teach us about God's priorities, and how might this challenge common religious routines or assumptions? I think this is kind of getting to like Jesus is coming, right? So the sacrifices were commanded. We're supposed to do the sacrifices. However, if you're just doing the sacrifices to go through the motions, what God is really interested in is your heart. We see that now too. Like, He doesn't want you to just go to go to church. He doesn't want you to just stand up and sing and clap and raise your hands or whatever in worship service just to do that just because that's what you do during that time. He doesn't want you to go volunteer and spend time with homeless people and giving people food and donating time and money and all this stuff to do it because that's what you're supposed to do. It gets to this idea that it's a heart issue. God wants your heart. He doesn't just want your time. He doesn't just want your actions. He doesn't just want your finances. He wants your heart. Ultimately, above everything else, He wants your heart. So that's what this I think is getting at, the idea that doing what is right and just is more acceptable to the Lord than sacrifice. I think that is 100% what this is getting at. Question 3. These chapters frequently contrast pride and humility. In what ways does pride subtly show up in our lives? How can we cultivate a posture that honors God and others? Humility is one we've talked about a lot here the last several days as we've been going through Proverbs, and it can be difficult to find a balance. Because humility, like, you have to have a honest look at yourself. It's not just being down on yourself, and it's also not just being positive on yourself. It's being honest, right? Looking at yourself honestly. So I'm aware of places that I am lacking, or I have to do more work at, or that are struggles for me, things like that. I need to be able to look at those honestly. I have people in my life that are aware of those things, that see those things in me, and that have permission to call me out on those things when they see me not behaving correctly in those areas. They have full permission to call me out on it. And they know that they're not going to get any blowback from me. I'm going to listen to what they have to say. I'm going to take it to heart and really evaluate what's going on. That is something you have to have humility to do. And one way that you can get uh, better at this humility is actually bring in people who you know are going to confront you on areas that you need to improve on. They'll do so in love, but they will confront you, and tell them you want them to confront you when they see you doing things wrong or incorrectly, or whatever the situation is, and then listen to them. It can be very, very difficult to do. Some people it's more difficult than others. I feel like I've been a person that can self-evaluate pretty well, really as far back as I can remember. But it's still something that I can sometimes get. I can get upset or offended if I don't watch myself. So yeah, we have I think after today 3 days or 4 days, one of the two, left in Proverbs, and that'll be it in Proverbs. It'll be moving on after that, but still got some good stuff in Proverbs. So you're gonna want to stick around for all of that we have left in Proverbs. Thanks for watching this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, as all those things help the channel grow. If this has been a blessing to you, you can share it with somebody else. It can be a blessing to them, and word of mouth is the best way that podcasts grow as well. So that can be something that helps this channel as well. Come back every single day. We're going to have more content every single day. Bible reading plan. We're going through the Bible an entire year, different teachings, all kinds of just really great biblical sound stuff like that. So you're not going to want to miss it. Come back, subscribe. Thanks. God bless.